Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a real lively treat, in my opinion, tonight on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all wrestling matters. And you might say our guest who's come on here tonight to share his experiences in the wrestling world is a year in the making because right around this time last year on Sportswire Radio, for some unfortunate reasons, we didn't bring him on. But sometimes the wrestling gods work in mysterious ways, which has led us to reconnect with this man. And this man has certainly had some interesting experiences he's going to share. In fact, you might want to say he is the true definition of non-stop, never stop. He's going to tell us why and some here. His journey has certainly taken him to some interesting places. His journey, who knows what's left in store. And it's a real treat to have him on here on Sportswire Radio. Now, I know he hasn't done one of these in the past, but we're going to actually give him that introduction that many people he has actually seen on this platform have gotten. Some you might have used to have said non-stop, never stop, but we're going to give him that non-stop, never stop like introduction that he is certainly going to get. So sit back and enjoy this one. And it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our guest. So with that, wait for it. Further ado here on the Sports Report, number one level sports show. They may call him by his real name, but we're going to call him by his wrestling name because he is the definition of non-stop, never stop. His name is Necro. My friend, how you doing?
Oh, my brother! I believe it is time, right now, with all respect to Devon, to testify! Reverend Bryce, my friend, it is a long time in the making, but by God, it's good to talk to you, my friend. It's good to be here on the number one wrestling show in the world. Work the left side, take a goddamn hike, because it's time for none other than Sportswire Radio, baby.
This could be a lively discussion. My last couple of shows have actually been pretty good. I did one Saturday with the rest. So I don't want to say it was a little bit wonky, but the last couple actually and you're actually coming off some really good shows. And it's obviously an absolute honor to have you. I mean, certainly you have some interesting
the pleasure's all mine, my friend.
Well, I want to actually give you the floor first, and we'll get to comments. I will certainly say hello to a number of people here in a second. Two people in particular who are going to have to follow your shoes tomorrow and Thursday. God may help them for sure. But I'm going to let you speak. You know what? Usually I ask people this, and that. But you know what? Necro Daddy, I know it says your real name, but I'm going to call you Necro Daddy for the while. We're going to
Necro Daddy.
We're going to call you Necro Daddy. You were kind of the hardcore deathmatch man in the UK. And, I'm actually friends with some different people in that world. But I'm going to let you speak now. You know what? My friend, the floor is yours. I'm giving you the opportunity to say whatever is on your mind. And you know what? For those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, fire away.
Reverend Bryce, I really appreciate it. I have to say from the outset, I really appreciate you having me on. I know that I ruffle a little feathers. I talk a little nonsense online, but realistically, I'm not such a bad guy. And I'll tell you one thing, right off the bat, my friend, literally no one, and you are the hardest working man in wrestling today. 90 shows in 75 days. I'm not kissing up, but my friend, that is unbelievable, right?
My voice certainly my voice feels it. Last week in your chair, Taylor Truth, the coming out championship wrestler general manager, when I was doing
listen,
show, my vocal cords went like this. Yeah. I'm like, uh-oh. And the next day, I work at a radio station Wednesday nights, and I'm like, uh-oh. But no, I appreciate that. But it's not about me. No. I want to hear from you because, I've known you before, and, unfortunately, for whatever reasons, I didn't bring you on. But you know what? We're unfiltered. We're not worried about anything anymore. And
biggest babyface turn in history.
Up for things here. So I want you to speak because, people hear me speak all the time. I want to give you the floor. You could say whatever is on your mind, my friend.
Absolutely. Well, I have loved pro wrestling more than I can possibly tell you. And I've loved pro wrestling more than I can possibly remember. Sure. But I have to say, we are at a crisis point, my friend. We are at a crisis point in wrestling where wrestling really needs to assert its identity. It really needs to believe in itself. And it really needs a leader. It needs leaders. It needs people to stand up. And I'm not saying that I'm that guy or anything.
Sure.
I'm just saying that I am willing to tell the truth, right? And I'm not the arbiter of good pro wrestling. That is not my position. That's not my history. I have had more terrible matches than anyone you've interviewed. I guarantee it. And I know. Listen,
know what? I can't confirm or deny that because, to be fair, we love everybody that is, well, not everybody that has come on the platform. Certainly a few individuals, but by the most part, we've certainly loved a lot of people that have come on the platform. And there have been some that, if I went back and really, really did the quote unquote Meltzer star ratings, I'm sure that there have been some that have had, some clunkers. That so feel listen right now. Listen. First of all, as far as the Meltzer star system is concerned, I mean, again, it's far beyond me to critique anybody's work or anything of that nature. Dave Meltzer with the star system rates every match as if it was the main event. All right. So this so the idea, and again, this is a little too in depth before we get into anything else. Before I get that shovel out and bury people like I promised, and I promise. All right, the shovel will come out at some point, but I don't mean to feel. I never want to come across like something I'm not. Right, I am. I don't lie to people. I don't pretend to be somebody that I'm not. I'm not pretending to be like I wasn't Daniel Bryanson in the ring. Okay, I was never that. I was never as smooth a fluid of a worker as that. And there are people that are, and that's great. But as far as Dave Meltzer's concerned, I mean, I never like to quote myself because I did nothing in wrestling compared to so many people, right? Everything that I ever did in wrestling, a lot of it wasn't filmed. But look at a veteran, right? Take Al Snow, right? Who dismantles that Meltzer star system effortlessly. The man who runs OVW right now, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And his thing is, the opening match is not supposed to be the main event. So if you're grading an opening match within the context of it being a main event, and you're looking for near falls and high spots and this and that, your opening match is supposed to get the crowd going, right?
Absolutely. I think the first match is actually in some ways just as important as the main event. Sure.
Of course it is. Of course it is, because the overall feel and the context of a show is everything. And like anybody else who's ever learned anything in wrestling, I learn things, and I'm the uncensored superstar, Mr. Bryce, Reverend Bryce. I'm uncensored as it gets, but I respect you, I respect the legend, and I respect your show, right?
I appreciate
and
that.
I'm not gonna curse and
I always did like you.
Listen, you and me, hey, listen, I think we're like peas in a pod, right? You and me calling a show, it'll be money, printed money, right? But as far as the opening match is concerned, I didn't want to harp on this subject too much.
Sure.
But the Meltzer star system, right? If you're grading an opening match like it was the main event, it's never going to work. Okay, and we all know Dave Meltzer has favorites. He has the boys in there.
Listen, he's in the pocket of Tony Khan. If we were gonna, I mean, obviously we'll get to the
I love this already.
He's in the pockets of Tony Khan. That's an obvious.
On
Twitter and you see it. No.
Exactly, and Meltzer's got his favorites, and this is perhaps an overarching point of who I am and what I could potentially be to wrestling, and I'll always love it, right? But you should always listen to your critics, right? If I was running AEW, who's the one person I would listen to? I would listen to Jim Cornette, right? Whether I agree with him or not, because your critics are always going to tell you the truth. Okay, so that's the first thing out of the way, and that's that if I have an opinion, right? So many people, especially in wrestling, what does my mate there, James Barras? I hope you're watching, brother.
He's here. Yes, I will get to comment. Yeah. A lot of people commenting.
We'll get on to CCW, right? Because I've really become a fan of those guys for a start.
It's
right?
CCW month on Sportswire Radio. It's CCW month, and Tribal Cheese is here, and I'm wearing my Tribal Cheese shirt right now. So
I love the Tribal Cheese. Hey, listen, right off the bat, right? And I appreciate the hell out of CCW, and we'll talk about them and their position within British wrestling, which I feel like they've been done a disservice.
They have,
but I want the Tribal Cheese, Logan. I want that guy in the ring. Okay, I want that guy in the ring so bad. You know why? Because he's a big, physically credible, over babyface, and I could bring something out of him that he never knew existed. All right, I could take that guy to a place that he never knew he would ever want to go. I'm Jake Carnage. All right, Chris Levitt, all this and that, notwithstanding, the hardcore side of me is Jake Carnage. And Jake Carnage, I'll say this right off the bat, after burying contestant number 1, which is good old Davey Meltzer and Tony Khan, I've buried them already, and I'm going to move on to bigger stars, such as the stars of Ento. But first and foremost, I want the big cheese.
I mean, Mr. Khan and Mr. certainly Meltzer are well-known names. I don't know if I would say they were stars, but okay, I'll give you that.
All right, okay. Infamous wrestling personalities, right? Mm-hmm. Stars is subjective, okay? Everybody's the star. Everybody is the hero of their own story, okay? But as far as that's all notwithstanding, because that big cheese, Logan, I've been talking to him. I like him, right? I like him, but I see a lot of cheese puns. I see a lot of fun. I see a lot of goddamn tomfoolery out of that man. All right, but if he steps in the ring with Jake Carnage, it's going to get real faster than he could imagine. And I want that guy in the ring.
About it. He's in your chair tomorrow, my friend. I will ask him about that. I'll ask him. You have my word.
I love the CCW guys. Yes. I want that big cheese in the ring. You see, the thing is, Reverend Bryce, I'm a hungry man. All right, but I don't want no little baby bell. All right, I don't want those little cheeses that come in a net. I want a big cheese. I want some Edam. You know what I mean? I want some big cheese. I want the cheese that goes in a pizza. And I want to get that big cheese Logan in the ring. And I want to show him what hardcore is all about, what Jake Carnage is all about. And I want him in the summer when it's nicer to travel up north. Because right at the minute, I have a family. And we'll get onto any of that, right? So I don't want to cut too many promos here, brother. I want to talk some real stuff, but let's get this right off the bat that I want to wrestle Logan, the big cheese, at CZW. CCW, not to be confused with the promotion where they flipped off cages and all this. I want CCW. I want a real hardcore promotion. All right, so promos notwithstanding. If I can be real and not just, stalking around a little bit.
I gave you the floor. I gave you the floor.
Yeah, so in terms of realness, right? This is Chris Levitt talking, and I'm a little, I can be a little schizophrenic. I can be a little. I've got a few sides to me. Some sides are a little drunker than others, but Mr. Bryce, Reverend Bryce himself, a legend. So I have to tell you the real story of me.
Tell me.
And yeah, if I can. So the truth is that when I was about 30 years of age, my life had pretty much fallen apart, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad time of it. I don't play the victim card. Conservatives never play the victim card, all right? I won't play the victim card. But when I was 30 years old, I needed a place to belong. I needed something. My life was just like this barren wasteland, to be honest. I had nothing going on. So I thought about what made me happy as a kid. And I alluded to it earlier, but I guarantee you no one got in more in fights in school defending pro wrestling than I did, right? People told me it was fake. People ridiculed pro wrestling when I was a kid. It was big at the time. It was a boom period of sorts.
Yeah, well, I think you're talking about the Attitude Era. Yep.
Maybe even slightly bit, not to betray my age, my friend, but maybe even slightly before that.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, we're talking early 90s here, right?
Okay. All right.
Hey, listen, Mr. Reverend Bryce, I appreciate the compliment there, because you know, I try and keep myself in some kind of fine fighting shape, if you will.
Okay.
Bear with me, my friend. I got a little action here. See, he's got the T-shirt repping. I own Ensor. We'll get to that.
Really? You know, I did see that post on Facebook where you had that Vince
McMahon
post. And so I guess you own the company now, huh? I guess you own it.
I own the hell out of Ensor, right? I own them on Facebook. I would own them in the ring. I'd own them at any, you know, like Eric Bischoff said back in the day, any car park in the country, baby. All right. Jake Carnage has got Ensor. Okay. But moving on from that. So when I was in my 20s, like I said, my 20s were a bit of a car crash, and I needed somewhere to belong. So I went to UK wrestling. By God, it was UK wrestling. Oh, got the banner right there.
Very well. Yep. Okay.
UK wrestling. Yep, there it is. I captured your flag. You want it back? You come see me. All right. So UK wrestling. And I wanted so badly to believe in UK wrestling. This is perhaps the root of what underlies the bitterness, right? UK wrestling. What do you know about UK wrestling, my friend?
What do I know is that they've used a lot of people that, frankly, probably have less experience than many of the backyard wrestlers that come on Sportswire.
Okay. This is why you're the man.
If we're gonna be real for a second, you know.
I love the realness, man. Give it to me.
Wrestlers, many of my guys that come on Sportswire, that some people in Ensor, quote unquote, that you mentioned, that former company that piled upon backyard wrestlers. Oh, by the way, that they were once backyard wrestlers. There is plenty of guys that come on my show that are far more talented than what I've seen in that company in the past. If we're being real.
I love it. That's the straight shooting Reverend Bryce that we all know and love, right? This is the new era of Sportswire.
Guys on my platform that get ridiculed by certain guys that think they're high and mighty, and I'll guarantee you that there are guys that'll come on this platform that they're underground wrestlers, semi-pro wrestlers, backyard wrestlers, and they will run circles about over companies I've seen like Ensor and UKW and anything else.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about UKW, and I appreciate everything you say, my friend. Sure. UKW, it should be huge, right? Are you familiar with Progress, Rev Pro?
Progress. I do. Of course, I know Progress, and I'm gonna tell you why I know Progress, because I actually had a wrestler, 2-bit during COVID, who actually wrestled in Progress, and I also want to throw out somebody else that I've had on Progress Wrestling, Synergy. Everybody knows Synergy, and they've been on the platform on 2 different occasions, and they wrestled in Progress. You see them in Odyssey Pro Wrestling. You see them in the LWF. They have been all over the place. So, of course, I know Progress.
Good for them.
Progress was basically the training ground for what the WWE looked for. So, of course, you don't have to tell me any further. Go ahead.
Yeah, fantastic. Synergy, what I know of them, a big, hard-hitting tag team. So,
they're meat grinders. They're all they're about is the meat. They put the meat out there.
They want the big, meaty men slapping meat, right? You're looking at a guy who's got some meat right here. So I'm ready for Synergy, right? Anytime Synergy want to get some synergistic energy, I'll grab my gym partner. All right, the underrated broadcast legend Karl Radonovic, and we'll see synergy in the ring anytime. I can give him a phone call. It's just a phone call away. And to be honest, I don't even need a tag team partner, man. Bring synergy on. All right, brother. Anyway,
sure.
All that notwithstanding, all the promos notwithstanding. So UKW should be bigger than Progress. UKW should be bigger than Rev Pro. It should be the biggest company in the country because it started first, right? So having that initial start on everybody meant that they had the pick of everyone. Okay, yeah. I'm talking Rampage Brown. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with a wrestler named Chris Travis.
Yes.
Project Eagle.
I've been covering British wrestling. Just really
I love it, brother.
I've been covering it for over 3 years. So yes, I have had on.
Yeah. So you know the names.
Wrestlers in the country. So yes, I have certainly
so
well versed in British wrestling. So thank you.
Love it. I love to hear it, brother. But the thing is with UKW, it should be the biggest thing going. They had access to all this talent, right? And up until recently, they had this surfeit of talent, and they should have made use of that. And this is the reason why I mentioned this, and this is the reason why I speak out, right? I speak out because I have nothing to lose, right? I could never get booked again and my life will be equally happy. But I speak out because no one else will. Do you know what I mean? Because people are scared. People want bookings. UKW isn't the biggest company in the world because of ego, right? Because the owner of the company, and I've never had a problem with it, is a man named Jonathan Sedgwick.
Yep.
And I don't have a problem with him personally. But the issue with me is, right, and this is why people have quit, notable names have quit. It's not my place to name who they are. But I can tell you, when I went to UKW, everything revolved around this guy, okay? And to me, that's the antithesis of what wrestling should be. And when I speak of PPW, right, it's a totally different ethos. Do you know what I mean? Whereas UKW is ego-driven, and it's about the delusions of one man. And this is a theme, because the wrestling, British wrestling, and I paused when I said the word industry, because in industry people make money. And one of the reasons why people don't in British wrestling is because of this narcissism, this misplaced ego. And Jonathan Sedgwick made everything about himself. And he was so threatened by talent that he kept them down, right? Let me give you some names, right? And there's one wrestler he's one of my best friends, but I've been explicitly instructed not to mention his name because of hey, listen, I'm the pariah of British wrestling, Reverend Bryce, okay? And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with the path I chose. I believe in the path I chose, right? But this man, out of respect for him as a brother, I won't mention his name, but I'm going to give you some names, right, that blowing up the UK scene. Leon Slater, not only blowing up the UK scene, right? Recently signed to the newly rebranded TNA.
Yep.
Okay? This guy's a phenom, right? He's a prodigy. I have known he was a prodigy since he was a kid. Okay? I used to shake his hand at shows, and you know what I used to say to him? And he'll remember this if you ask it. I'm not name dropping. I'm just telling you like it is, right? I used to say to Leon Slater, I used to say, I ain't worried about you, superstar, right? Because I wasn't, right? The guy has preternatural talent. It's a nice little word there. But you know what I mean? Guy has athleticism beyond his years. I mean, he's blowing up. UKW had him. All right, UKW didn't promote him. Okay, I don't want to make this a long list. Jet Marshall's another one, right? I don't know if you know Jet Marshall.
Yes, I do. I heard the name.
Jet Marshall is, in my opinion, the biggest babyface in the UK. And Jet, if you're watching this, it's not only because he's the UK's answer to Nick Gage and he has unparalleled intensity in the ring. It's because when my son was born, he came around and brought me a card. And I never, ever, ever will forget that. Because that's the stuff that matters, people. Do you know what I'm saying, Mr. Bryce?
That's a good point.
That's a
good point, but hold on to that for because a lot of people want to
Yeah,
talk to you.
please.
I want to
Please,
give
brother.
people an opportunity. And if you're out there, whether you like it or not, you should definitely subscribe to our YouTube page at Sports by Radio
Oh, yeah.
6579. I want to also give a big shout out to my very good buddy, Mr. TBK, who created this nice banner for us. It's a nice little banner. I cut out the bottom just so I can put it on the screen, but definitely go check him out. TBK, obviously on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you for the nice banner. He's the host of the Be More Talkative podcast on our internet radio station, sportswireradio.org. You can check him out with my at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to preview the Royal Rumble. We're going to be back the next day to talk about the Royal Rumble, talk about the WWE network deal with Netflix for 10 years and $5 billion, which will be about 3.5 to 4 billion pounds in UK dollars. We'll talk about all that, plus what'll happen outside the world with that deal. But thank you, TBK, for that banner. Let me say hello to Mr. James Barris himself. He says, smash it tonight. I think we're definitely doing that and some. How you doing? As I mentioned, he's here. My guest.
Always fired up.
In my chair.
Yeah, man.
Says, let's do
I want that man in the ring.
I want to say hello to my very good buddy from the state of Tennessee. We're having Resurrection Wrestling Month on the month of February, and they're going to have on their card, get this, one of our favorites, some guy named Sergeant Jimmy Controversy, who was, in a company called Grimm's Toy Shop. And, who, by the way, last year wrestled some other guy named Tommy Dreamer. Not too bad. Also, some other guy he had in the Carnage Cup, if you're a deathmatch wrestling fan, Mr. Mac 10. Just recently, the GTS Intercontinental Champion, Mikey Anarchy. He's a friend of mine, Joseph Tibbs. How you doing? This guy, I think we know who that is. We'll certainly let you.
Oh, ho, ho.
Yep.
Hello, Josh. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, well, that's good. That's nice. I guess you can certainly, I'm sure, have something to say about that. My buddy in Australia just passed 800 subscribers. Mr. Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. He's got a Patreon page now. He's awesome. He did an interview with Jack Delta, by the way. Jack Delta is the man. Jack Delta, one of the best wrestlers. I don't care whether it's pro, underground, backyard. He had a match that I want people to go watch on YouTube at ROEW Backyard Wrestling against CJ Black, and I'll guarantee you it was better than 50% of the pro wrestling matches I've seen this year. These guys killed it out there. Go out and support those guys. It was awesome. Mr. Barris, we are hated because we are the Ricky Gervais of pro wrestling. We are woke.
We are. I will take that. All right. Okay. Hey, Reverend Bryce, have you seen the latest Ricky Gervais special?
I haven't seen all of it, admittedly, but I'm sure it's certainly one that I will check out one day. Because as you know, all I do is wrestling shows on Sportswire Radio, so I can't say I watch.
You certainly do. Since I said it to you privately, but since James Brown passed, the hardest working man in show business, right there.
Well, maybe. My buddy also from Resurrection Wrestling, we're going to have on in a couple of weeks, Mr. Drake Golddragon. Drake is also the national champion there in Resurrection Wrestling. Drake, how you doing? Want to give a big shout out to my very good buddies, the IMF. The IMF is on YouTube, IMF Wrestling 666, and these guys killed it. They were just in a 400-seat venue last weekend here. They're going to be in another 400-seat venue coming up on February the 17th. These guys are making money. These guys are making waves. These guys are killing it. They've got world wrestling stars all over the place. They've got guys that were trained by Seth Rollins. They've got guys that have been pro wrestlers in their company. They are smashing it. They've got almost 2,000 subscribers on their YouTube page. They've also got a guy named Omen Black, who, get this, is a hardcore god. And he's a boogeyman of the Midwest. And you might have been a hardcore guy in the UK, Mr. Necro Daddy, a.k.a. Chris. But Mr. Black would definitely be a guy that, you might want to check him out. He's on Facebook at Omen Black. You might want to check out the IMF Wrestling 666. You definitely want to check him out.
I'll check him out. And if he wants a plane ticket, hey, I'm ready, Mr. Omen Black.
James Barris, you're a businessman. I'm ready, brother. You're a businessman, James Barris. You better book the foundation, Omen Black, and Soldier GP, the popular heel monster, the reigning defending IMF World Heavyweight Champion, just successfully defended it, and he's defending his championship February the 17th in a King of the Ring style tournament almost at the IMF's next show at the Power Community Center. IMF Wrestling 666 on YouTube. He's wrestling Tommy the Man Merriman. It's going to be quite a match. We're going to talk about that here in a few weeks. Thank you, Soldier, for all you do. And I endorsed his show, and I'm going to endorse his show coming up here in a few short weeks. And I want everybody else here on this platform to go follow the IMF, Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling, on Facebook. You better do it. The Tribal Cheese says it's a call out. He says the promoter's here and the CEO is here. He can make it happen. Looks like Necro Daddy is top tier. I definitely agree about that. Speaking of top
cheers,
tier,
brother.
we have here Jules NYC from New York City. How you doing, Jules? She says greetings to Necro Daddy. And not the only one that had that belief in UKW. Yeah, listen, I mean, that's why, UKW is what it is. And we like CCW because CCW is the place to be. CCW is Cullery Community Wrestling. And I want everybody that's following this show tonight to go out and go to CCW's page on Facebook, Cullery Championship Wrestling, almost 5,000 members. Go follow Coming Out Championship Wrestling, Carnage Hardcore Wrestling, Carnage Championship Wrestling on their pages, and support that platform. They use a lot of people that can't get on shows, and we know that. Yes, listen, I've known that for years. That's to me that you didn't even. I knew that like 2 months into covering British wrestling.
Who's this UKW?
Now this guy, you look like him a little bit. His name is Hybrid. He was the CCW World Heavyweight Champion. He was their World Underground Champion. He's going to be in their Rumble this Saturday. He was a shoot fighter. He had a background. He was in security, and he's done a lot of different things. He's a guy not to mess with, and the Tribal Cheese is going to have his hands certainly worked out here for sure when it comes to Hybrid and the Tribal Cheese and Jam Dog in between. So definitely we're going to look forward to Hybrid coming back on Sportswire Radio. And Jules, by the way, says, "Merry meet, Necro Daddy." Okay, well, that was an interesting one. Interesting line there, Jules. All right, so, you talked about some different things. You talked about UKW.
Yes.
So what else is on your mind? I mean, people are really they're just warming up to you right now. So what's on your mind there, sir?
I love it. And yeah, I mean, I mentioned UKW, and look, I get into a lot of spats online, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I actually got into a few. And speaking of, actually, because of bringing you on this platform, and I want to say, honestly,
hey, and I love you for it, brother. I love you for it. I love you for it. And the thing is, all right. So that's UKW, right? Mm-hmm. They passed on talents. And by the way, and I can count 6, right?
Misses you.
Oh, miss you, man. Hey, listen. All right, I'll say this about Josh, right? Again.
J-Ro. We had him on the show. He was they were having a match with the Modern Day Mafia. This was about a year plus ago. I mean, I always liked J-Ro. I never had a problem with J-Ro. There's one individual that basically tried to attack my platform, and that one individual had no right to attack my platform. And that one individual who was on this platform, who basically ate at my table, who basically got to promote and got to shoot his shot every time he came on this platform, he brought all of his talent on here. We did everything we could to oblige that individual, and that individual tried to turn his back on this platform and tried to make it into something that he had no right to say, he has no business to, and just like, for a matter of fact, anybody else that would. And you know what? Especially that individual who actually, real shoot here, a couple weeks prior, I actually messaged him, checked in on him, said how he was doing, and wished him well about NSAW. And if there was anything I could do to help him in any way possible, I was always there. And he turned it into a political discussion, and he turned it into something that he had no right, no justification in doing anything with. And also that individual who months prior on my personal Facebook page took shots at a backyard wrestler for sharing a post. He had absolute no right to do that. And he himself, who was especially a former backyard wrestler, and who's somebody that, frankly, he hasn't cut the mustard in what he's done. And that's why he's an ex-owner. And that's why he's not coming back on this platform after what he did. I don't care who messaged me on this. I don't care who disagrees or agrees. You're not going to take a shot at my platform when my platform had on the head coach of the United States women's amputee soccer team. My platform just had on the first ever British fighter that fought in Dombe at the African Warriors Fighting Championship. Look it up. They got 100,000 followers on Instagram. They seem to like my platform. So if you don't like who wants to come on my platform, go find your own podcast, go find your own platform, and go find your own promotion that you can run and put under the ground.
I love it. Hey, listen, you got to defend your own, right? You got to defend your own. And as far as you're concerned, you're a top man. You're a top man. And just like me, you believe in a liberal democracy. And this is I ain't kissing up.
Listen, real quick, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I always give people a platform here on Sportswire.
Absolutely.
I have been doing this for 5 years. I am the only, it's a fact, I have covered high school, university athletics. I have covered professional sports. I have covered wrestling in all backgrounds. I have given every person an opportunity here, whether it's race, whether it's background, whatever it might be. And you're not going to tell me, when you have no right to do that, that I can't or can have people on my platform. So you're not going to do that. If you want to go, I don't tell you how you ran NSAW. I don't tell you how you get booked in promotions. I don't tell wrestlers, like I don't tell my guys in the IMF. I don't tell my guys in Resurrection, CCW, TBW, DBW, ROEW. I don't tell my guys in Amplified Wrestling right now. I don't tell my guys in the past when we work with the LWF and Odyssey Pro Wrestling, when KOW was here. I don't tell my guys when Legendary Backyard Wrestling with here, WCE. I don't tell anybody on this platform how they should book their shows, how they should run them. If somebody wants my advice and opinion, I will give it in a way that respects this platform, respects this business, but you're not going to go out there and then use the words we. You have, I don't want to spend 25 minutes on this because I already shot my shot 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, and I think the people got the message. But this is the place where all wrestling matters, and I will always defend anybody on this platform that wants to come on, but you're not going to go, especially when you ate here, you didn't pick up after yourself. That's like basically the equivalent of going into somebody's house, taking a number 2 and not wiping after themselves. And on top of that,
brother.
I just want to say I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? I grew up. I was taught that if somebody hit me in my face, I had to hit him back. And basically, you have no idea my background. You have no idea what I've gone through to put this platform where it is and where this platform will be. So your floor is yours, and I think I said my piece.
You certainly did, my friend. I mean, look, all right. So this is a little bit of the controversy that you're addressing, okay? So as far as Sportswire goes, as far as yourself is concerned, you're a fair man, and what you do.
A fair man. And then when another individual talked about my Hall of Fame having quote unquote backyarders and whatever. No, it's not actually.
All right. Yeah.
It's not only 30. It's 23 members, by the way, and it's growing by the day. And to that individual, by the way, again, I'll repeat it. We just had on the head coach of the United States Women's amputee football team, who, by the way, said she loves Sportswire, and by the way, she says she'll come on anytime. And we just had on, by the way, let me repeat,
that's credibility, brother.
First British fighter to have fought in Dambe at the African Warriors Fighting Championship in Nigeria. He seems like he's very happy with Sportswire Radio, and he's more than happy to be in the Hall of Fame. And as a matter of fact, is that the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. We're having in our Hall of Fame in 2 weeks a guy that actually played in the national championship tournament in the sport of basketball. He seems fine with Sportswire. So to those people that don't like it, go find your own podcast, go run your own business, and don't go on here and then criticize and say who you want when you need to reevaluate your own situation. And that's why, as a matter of fact, that's why wrestling in the UK and other places has these problems, because people put their egos at a certain level. They want to book them. Oh, and by the way, that individual that criticized my platform booked himself to be a world champion of a company that's under the ground. I mean, let's take a step back for a second, right? I'm a fair man, right? I'm a businessman. I've been very successful in my life. I've always been a man. I've done well in my life. I've always had a good head on my shoulders. I've been somewhat successful in the world of politics, real shoot on that. And I never put myself over on my platform in 5 years. This individual ended his company and put himself as the world champion. I mean, who does that?
Yeah. Embarrassing. It's embarrassing, brother.
It's a joke.
It's embarrassing that we do that.
And notice, by the way, in my Hall of Fame so far, I didn't put myself in the Hall of Fame. I put the people that deserved an opportunity and who want to be recognized, and people that need to be recognized. And that shows you the character of an individual. I have done a lot of things in my life. I have seen a lot of things, and not to go on a rant for this, but there are those who you can see and those who you can see their true colors. And that individual, he showed his true colors when he tried to spit on my platform. Again, a platform that he was on here. And he came on here time and time again with his talent. And he has no right to do that. And I will continue to do that. You don't ever come at my platform. You don't ever come at my people who've been in my community, who have supported me, and all my wrestlers all across who have supported me. He took a shot at all of them, and I will continue to defend anybody that takes a shot at me and this platform. And he took a shot at people that came on this platform, and certain individuals, by the way, aligned with that individual, took shots at Backyard Wrestling. You know what? Backyard Wrestling, I want to put this out there, not for nothing. People that spit on Backyard Wrestling, you have absolute no right to do that, because let me tell you something. I have people that come on who are backyard, quote-unquote, underground and semi-pro wrestlers, and they're far more talented. They come on this platform. They know how to handle themselves. They know how to speak. They know how to promote themselves. When these quote-unquote, some guys who are pro wrestlers, by the way, pro wrestlers with the big quote, 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 unquote, and an asterisk, can't really talk, can't really promote themselves, and people are bored when they come on here. But meanwhile, my guys who come on here, who line up at the door and who want to be on this platform, they can certainly cut a promo. They can certainly promote themselves. And I think far more people find them interesting than the quote unquote holier than now pro wrestlers when
preach, brother.
They wrestled in 10, 15 people. My guys in the IMF were just in a 400-seat venue. That's all I
There you go.
My guys in DBW just had 4,000 views. My guys in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, you're out there right now. Go follow them on YouTube, TBW 2017. Barstool Sports just mentioned them yesterday. Oh, they come on my platform. They like Sportzwire. They have 6,500 subscribers on YouTube. Their last show got 5,000 views. Advice to the pro wrestlers and advice to the pro wrestling companies. You might want to actually learn how to promote yourself, kind of like the guys you kind of spit upon, like TBW and ROEW and WCE and IMF and VTW and DBW and Legendary Backyard Wrestling. The list goes on and on, because those companies, or of course XCW, the gold standard, the motherlode of all underground and semi-pro wrestling. Check them out, XCW Wrestling 1. Those companies all seem to do a better job at promoting themselves than the promoters and the companies that are quote-unquote pro wrestlers. Just saying.
Love it. I love the passion, Reverend Bryce, and I agree with you. I mean, you know, the as far as backyard, listen, all right, we're talking hardcore wrestling. We're talking wrestling in general. Here is one lesson, all right? Go in 100%. I don't know, it's all the companies that the Reverend Bryce mentioned there. I've checked out a few for sure.
It's a long list.
Hey,
I want to shout out also to my buddy.
Listen.
I want to give him a big shout out. Yep, it's a long list.
Big shout out, brother. Right? Listen, you, as far as wrestling is concerned, you need to go in 100%, because if you don't, the fans will feel it. All right? So as far as listen, we mentioned the NSAW, right? We mentioned the NSAW crew, the people that came on and used your platform to promote their utter crap. Okay, yeah, we're talking NSAW, right? Okay, NSAW is this. I own NSAW, baby. I own them anytime I see them. You see me in the car park. You see me in the ring. I own NSAW. I don't need to buy it because I already own it. All right, NSAW, because you guys are weak. All right, I don't want to bully anyone. I don't want to pick on anybody. But you see the backyard guys like Reverend Bryce was mentioned, they go in 100%. You see Jake Carnage and Radu Bulak, they go in 100%. What was our first spot? Shoot, headbutt to the head, right? As opposed to a headbutt to another region. But a headbutt to the head nonetheless, right? I've got CTE. That's why I don't finish sentences, because Radu Bulak rang my bell in the first spot. Okay, you've got to make them feel it. I'm not saying every shot, every spot should cause you brain damage. I'm just saying feel it. I'm just saying don't go in and slap your goddamn leg on every stupid spot and do every cutesy spot known to man, right? Okay, listen, you got to go in. ESW All the wrestlers watch ESW.
It's funny you mentioned ESW. I'm glad you.
ESW. I gotta send my first rest in peace to Wicked J, who was the biggest star in ESW. He was a juggalo, and people would dismiss him. But I'll tell you something about Wicked J in ESW, man. That guy had more charisma in his little finger than all these NSOR warriors combined. And all the NSOR people, I don't want to pick on you. I don't want to make you feel bad. But what I want to tell you is, I want to tell you to take yourself less seriously. All right. But at the same time, take yourself more seriously. Get a tan. Go to the gym. I have a wife and kid, and I haven't been booked in several centuries. But yet I'm still in shape, coming back off a tricep tear, still tanned, still jacked, still talking that smack like only the Necro Daddy can. And like the thing is, right? All right, with the NSOR people, they're so brittle, Reverend Bryce. You know, I have a play with them online. I'll talk a little smack back and forth with them online, and they can't take it.
Let me ask you a question. And we're here with Mr. Necro Daddy himself. You can certainly
please, brother,
if you choose on Instagram at Necro Daddy.
If you choose, it's your choice.
My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. I am the voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters here. And I do want to say hello to some people. Steve Swift wants to say it's not a world title. It's only been defending it in Rotherham. Also, they tried to keep me off this show as well. Well, Mr. Barris, you're going to always be on.
I love that guy.
Yes, Mr. Barris, yes. Well, the marks always pop shots at me, and I don't mess about. I turn up to where they are, and people back down very last. The lesson is, be a keyboard warrior. You know, and that's the
everybody's getting fired up. Hey, Reverend Bryce. Yep. I gotta say, there's only been one keyboard warrior that's worth anything, and I've got to say, rest in peace to Mad Kurt. All right, Mad Kurt was 25 years old, the keyboard warrior himself. All right, this guy. I only really found out about him after he died. And this guy said, "You heard about Mad Kurt?"
Yes, I did.
Man, I binge watched his matches.
I don't want to say who I spoke to about that, but I actually that was sad. I really felt bad about that. I really
25 years old. That's a baby, man. And he was a very. I didn't know him, right? But I'll be honest. I binge watched his matches. And he tweeted this, right? I want to share this one tweet. He said he was at Ring of Honor Kid doing the ring crew one time, and he was eating the Nando's that they got for him, right? And Bully Ray came in and said, "Is that for the crew or is that for the stars?" And Mad Kurt said, "It's for the stars," and continued eating. You know what I mean? Mad Kurt was a legend.
Up a couple years ago on one of my shows, I do want to say, I want to give a shout out to my guest next Friday, who's probably going to also say some things about NSOR, Mr. Brad Coleman. Brad's going to be here next Friday night because Ronnie Thatcher is here
Coleman.
coming up. And
How you doing, brother?
Brad's going to be here. He's going to be here Friday night in your chair, 8:30 p.m. British Standard Time. And I've also, but before I get to Brad, I want to make sure my buddy sees this, Mr. TBK, because this is his banner. This is his banner he created. So follow this guy on YouTube. Check him out. It's Ryan Andrew from Alaro on Facebook. Give him a friend request because he created my banner, and he's my guy, and he's always going to be my guy, and he's a host of the Be More Talkative podcast. Support this guy because he's awesome. He loves the sport of wrestling, and he tells it like it is. So make sure you support this guy. Well, thank you, TBK, for the wonderful banner. But, he says, listen, it's a dead company. It's nonstop, never stop, and it's a toolbox. And the owner, he booked himself. All you need to know is he booked himself champion when the company closed. He booked himself champion.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, right? Again, I mentioned it.
Booked himself champion when ECW closed.
No, of course not. Look,
Dixie Carter didn't book herself champion with problems. I mean,
perhaps not the most successful example, but
down the list. But that's the problem, though, is that there's a lot of politics and people, think that they know it all. And somebody to be an owner who didn't have the experience, that's unfortunate. But I have a lot of comments, and I want to get to people here. Mr.
Let's hear, brother.
Says, I know I spoke with one guy that was at NSOR. I offered him an opportunity. He replied, "I can't accept, or I've been told I will be blacklisted in some companies here. I won't name his name." That's sad. You know what? That's sad because you know what?
Yeah.
That speaks volumes on companies, right? Where wrestlers just want to go out there and work, right? No joke.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, kick the ballistics here. Fourth wall broken. Wrestlers
Oh,
want
yeah.
to go out there and wrestle. My platform says
Totally.
all wrestling matters. I want everybody to go out there, and I want to see the best of the best. I want to see the best matches. But, certain people think we should see the same matches, the same setups, the same finishes, the same things in this place, in that place. And that really hurts the fans because they're not getting what they deserve, and you're insulting their intelligences. But thankfully, we have CCW where Davey Blaze plays. Oh, and by the way, just so you know, Davey Blaze just wrestled James Storm not too long ago. Davey Blaze likes CCW, and Davey Blaze says he wants more in CCW. So that's why I support CCW, because Davey Blaze, who, oh, by the way, came on my show, who likes me, enjoys CCW. So
listen, Davey Blaze.
I don't think any top wrestling star is going to tell Davey Blaze that CCW he shouldn't go there, because Davey Blaze, he's like 3 times the size of you, and he's got like 4 times the opinion. And I've had Davey Blaze here on twice. That's all. I'm going to move on. A couple of more comments here. I've been around for many episodes of Sportswire. This is the best segment I've seen yet. 2 straight shooters dropping straight facts. Yep.
That's it, brother.
Glad I could help.
We're all about this. We're all. Oh, sorry, bro.
I know people won't be liking you guys shooting, but doesn't Jim Cornette hold back? Well, that's certainly that.
Jamesy!
Loving this show. I know people would like this one here. Well, yeah, see what I mean? That's the point. This dude,
it's all about it, brother,
who made a company and put himself as the champion. I mean, think about it. Like,
you
made yourself the champion.
Of course. It's a big no-no.
Member of his group, and then put himself as the top guy. And who was left on his roster? Think about it. Like, his roster. I mean, I could play WWE 2K and had a better roster than what he had left. Seriously, listen. I'll be straight up. I'm not even a wrestler, but I guarantee you, if I put a promotion together, which, oh, by the way, people have asked me to do, I guarantee you, I could put together a far better promotion in 15 minutes, and I could get guys lined up the door, and I could get guys lined up that would want to wrestle for a Sportswire company. Just saying, though. CCW would welcome Necro down. I hope that, I know you're retired, sir, but you know what? I think give the people what they want. You clearly can draw. You clearly got charisma. You clearly got some real muscles on your bicep, not the beer belly. Maybe it's time you might consider something. Now, it's your life. You've obviously got a lot of things on your plate. You're a busy man, but never say never. Yes, Julie.
Never say never, brother.
On that. Yes, speak the facts. Yes, the truth. You know what?
Jet Marshall! What? Yes, there he is. Oh, my brother. I love this guy. You can engage. MDK all day, baby.
And you know what, Jet Marshall? We want to see you on Sportswire. My YouTube page is Sportswire Radio 6579 Backspace Stream.
I love this, man.
Just so you know, Jet Marshall, you know who just came on my show not too long ago? Some guy named Jimmy Controversy. Oh, by the way, messaged me, likes my platform. And another guy named Hardcore, by the way, who just wrestled some guy you probably heard of. You're a hardcore guy, Madman Pondo. Happens to like Sportswire.
Yes.
So if you need an endorsement,
Madman Pondo.
You want references? You want my resume to kind of see who's come on the platform? I'm sure you might want to come on here. Yeah, definitely you got the mask.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. So, so where do you go from here? I mean, you speak about these people who basically are dead and buried. Obviously, they're not nonstop, never stop. They're going nowhere.
No, of course not.
Where do you go from here?
Look. Once you're a wrestler, you never stop wrestling. Okay, no pun intended with the people that you mentioned.
Pull you out of it.
Non-stop, never stop, baby. Okay, listen, right? I love pro wrestling. I will, as much as I try to move away. It's like The Godfather, Reverend Bryce.
When you're out, they suck you right back in. I know.
They certainly do. And I've got to give a couple of shout outs here, right? And I'm gonna mention Jet Marshall, right? Because I have the Carnage Awards. This guy is the #1 babyface in the UK. Me and Carl saw Amir Jordan, from NXT UK, right?
Yes,
we saw him in the gym. Yeah, we saw him in the gym. And the one person who was putting over was Jet Marshall, right? Because the guy has intensity. Okay, the guy. Nathan says hi, bro. Okay, So I'm putting over the number one babyface in the UK. The number one heel is Nathan Black. Okay,
I know the name. I know, you guys remember, I've been
you know the
covering
name.
British wrestling for 3 years. And just by the way,
Yeah,
Chief
you know, brother.
and Hi Jet, nice to meet you. I'm really the only game, and for anybody to actually like try to like attack my platform, I am the only game in town. Just so you know, because Chris Lappin, who by the way, I love Chris Lappin. I have a lot. I want to say this, I like Chris Lappin a lot. He's a fan of my product. He doesn't do BBG shows anymore. Kurt Johansson, who was doing the shows during COVID, he was the Odyssey Pro Wrestler, Odyssey Pro Wrestling play-by-play man. He doesn't do this anymore. There is no platform like mine. So, like, I would think at the end of the day, you'd want to be on my good side because I can go on here any day. And I've done, by the way, now in 76 days, 92 shows. So, and I'm just telling you right now, I'm booked until almost the end of February. So I'm going to keep coming on every day, and I could basically say anything I want. Now, I'm a nice guy. I'm not about that, but you don't want to basically attack my platform because I have the bully pulpit. Listen, I have the bully pulpit here. I'm the voice of wrestling, but all wrestling matters. So but go ahead, continue. Your floor.
No. I listen. Hey, listen. I ain't sucking up. I don't do that. My name is Jake Carnage, and I don't do that. But hey, listen, you are a reflection of the liberal democracy that I love because you give everyone a voice.
That's
all right.
What it's all about. Listen, all I want to do is give people opportunities, and we just want
to that's it.
Showcase, and that's all we did. But really, because of bringing you on the platform, frankly, this has all started because that one individual attacked you coming on this platform and tried to turn it into politics and turn it into people's opinions when, first of all, we have never talked about people's opinions, people's beliefs, people's ideology. I will never do that. And I would never welcome anybody that wouldn't do those things. And you have not done those things. All we've done here is talk about this sport of wrestling. You have went out there and then on top of that, the individual tried to basically downgrade your abilities. He tried to talk about why you're out of this sport or whatever reasons. And that's uncalled for because and then when I had a very civil and respectful discussion with the individual got all mad and unfriended me along with a few of his associates that basically
it's what they are, man.
Yeah, and they show their true colors. People do that all the time. Listen, and by the way, I worked in politics since I'm out of high school. You don't think I can see that? I've worked for 2 New York State senators, and I worked for a United States congressman that threatened to throw a reporter off the balcony. You think I can't handle? You think that I cannot actually see when people are trying to play politics? Come on.
No.
You're really taking me for naive. And even people that messaged me and tried to say different things, come on, listen, let me tell you something. You don't know me. You don't know my platform, but you're not going to turn to something that it's not to be. And that's the truth. Listen, I've been doing this a long time. I have been, speaking my mind for 5 years on this platform. I have been involved in some type of communications for 18 years. You don't think I can't handle myself? You don't think I'm going to not speak up and stand up because what? You're trying to be in a clique? You're trying to be in with a certain set of people when you need to focus on what's best for you. And again, it's hypocritical because at the end of the day, I messaged that individual and wished him on, always checked up on him. How you doing? Anything I could do to help you? I'm always here for you. I'm supportive. I always did my best to reach out to him. And that's not cool because I'm a man that I will always go and support and fight for those that support me. And that individual, what he did was wrong and it was uncalled for. And he certainly, he's got his own certainly demons. And you know what? Not for nothing. People, my supporters, my community, my family, they certainly came out on Facebook. And I'm sure you saw the videos. They had a lot to say. And that's why you're not going to go off here on this platform for sure.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's why we love you, man. And people underestimate, because they don't understand. They underestimate because they don't understand. And as far as anybody trying to, I feel like what happened was, Reverend Bryce, I feel like are you familiar with the term straub?
Of course I
am. So straub, for the uninitiated, was like it was a term inaugurated by the anarchist Doug Williams. I think it was the first. That's an old school name for you, brother.
Oh, the legend. And he's not that much of an old. He just announced his retirement for a second. Yeah. Let's see if he's. Everybody these days is saying they're retiring. I mean, Sting is saying he's retiring. Apparently, Hogan said last night that he wants to do one more match. I mean, who knows? So Doug Williams might say he's retired, but you never can say never in this sport. You know that.
Well, after I've wrestled the Big Cheese, I want Doug Williams next. All right, let's hear it.
Well, James Barrett, if you book Davey Blaze, you certainly might have to find a way to book
listen, Davey Blaze, I want that guy. Bring him on. All right. I'll tell you, I know this is a little tangential, but as far as British wrestlers are concerned, old school ICW, because what is the driving force of pro wrestling? It's getting personalities over, right? I remember, because there are two really big fans of pro wrestling, okay? There is Chris Levitt, okay? And there is this wrestler called Joe Nelson, who I believe at some point he went to the same orphanage as El Generico did, and and then Kid Lycos 2 emerged. I don't know where he came from, but I'll tell you who was the first person to wrestle Joe Nelson, because nobody else wanted to wrestle him because he was too young. I did the Home Alone match with Joe Nelson.
Oh, wow.
And this is nothing. Yeah. So Joe Nelson and me, right, when we were at UKW that were mentioned, okay, we had the Home Alone match, all right? And we, because of one person and one person's drunken ideas, it may or may not have been me, had this idea of basing all the spots around Home Alone, right? I wrestled Joe Nelson, and I wrestled him a lot of times, and I was good mates with him. He's where he is because he was the biggest fan, right? He was the biggest fan of pro wrestling, and he consumed everything, okay? And Joe Nelson, he may not be with us anymore.
On the screen, by the way, because people are too.
Oh yeah,
I made you bigger.
You gotta love me bigger. 1 second, Reverend Bryce. I gotta take a 10-second for the people, and you gotta look at that mess. All right, baby. Gary Stridemore. All right, listen. All right, so there was Joe Nelson, okay?
Sure.
And then he became Kid Lycos too. He's some kind of a furrer, like Jordan Collins. I don't know about this. This is not my wheelhouse. I'm a conservative, god damn it. But as far as it goes, okay, it comes from, like yourself, like you said, you've covered legitimate. Whoa, it's Joshua Snow, baby. What's up, Joshua Snow? All right, Joshua Snow, I got one question for you, right? If I'm so crap in the ring, if I'm this embarrassment, Jake Carnage is this embarrassment, all right? Jake Carnage is just a drunk, okay? And you, Mr. Snow, are this professional, all right? You know what you're doing. You know a hammerlock, yeah? You know a wrist lock takedown. You might even know a hip toss. But you don't have a chance in the ring against Jake Carnage. You don't have a goddamn chance, all right? You're happy with your life, all right? Okay, that's good, okay. Right, what eats you up at night is the knowledge that Jake Carnage called you out on Facebook, all right? Is the knowledge that the man himself, the Necro Daddy, is willing to back up his words like Mad Kurt. I'm the keyboard warrior that can back it up. Joshua Snow, I'm challenging you, right? And I have the perfect venue, my friend. Okay, Reverend Bryce, I want you to get this on camera because Joshua Snow, you've decided to comment, and that's very interesting. All right, I am the human trigger warning. My name is Jake Carnage, and I am the best kept secret in professional wrestling. I don't have a problem. I am the problem. Joshua Snow, what eats you up at night is the fact that you didn't have these stones to fight Jake Carnage in the ring. And I'm saying, work or shoot. And I don't want to bully you. I don't want to hurt you, because that'll be punching down. All right? I want you to pick it. If you think that you, for 1 second, for one split second, can hang in the ring with the Murder Messiah, with the Necro Daddy, with the by God, Sheriff of Sexy. I've had a lot of identities.
Listening, James.
Joshua Snow, Blackout Wrestling in the ring. You and me. You pick the steps. You want to work? You want to shoot? All right. I'm right here. Back up your words, because you know I will. You know I'm begging. I'm begging as a husband, as a father, as a conservative. I am begging.
I think you brought up something there where somebody tried to say that you were certainly something that he had, certainly a disagreement with you on. Certainly, this individual here who's with us.
Who's this? Who's this, Reverend Bryce?
The individual here in question. The individual that basically has come here because he obviously heard he got the bat signal on that he was being talked about here. That's why he's here.
Oh, the bat signal indeed, my friend. All right, Curse. Let me bear with you 1 second, because I could dispense with you drunk, and I could dispense with you sober. I am a walking reality check, because you play in pretend world, and I am the real goddamn thing. I am a real pro wrestler. I'm in shape. I can talk the talk. And oh my God, thank you, PPW, because you restored my confidence when I trained you. Excellent gentlemen, because I can walk the walk. Oh, it pleases you, does it? And you're assuming that I drink Jaeger. All right.
What are you drinking?
I'll have you. I'm drinking tonic water. I'm a goddamn Reverend Bryce. I'm a goddamn athlete. All right. I'm the real. See, the thing is, Reverend Bryce, I think you're a top man, but I have to tell you this. I have to tell you this for the real. I have to tell you this on the shoot of the down low. Yeah. Everyone underestimates me, but I'm a real athlete. I'm the real thing, okay? And Joshua Snow, I remember, and I don't want to bully you, and I'll tell you, because I asked James by God Rutherford at Blackout Wrestling, and I'll tell you something about Blackout Wrestling. They are good guys, right? Mm-hmm. Because James Rutherford, because this guy, he talked his smack about me. All right. He talked his this and that. He talked anything he wanted to. Okay. But he didn't realize that he was talking to the real thing. Okay. You know, you remember John Moxley before he no-sold everything. Yeah? You remember when John Moxley was the real thing. You remember when John Moxley was angry. Yeah? Well, you look into the Necro Daddy, and I'm angry. And I've got a point to prove to British wrestling. I'm going to start with Joshua Snow. And I'm telling you, bitch, if you've got the stones, I will see you at Blackout Wrestling. I will see you. I will see you at Blackout Wrestling. This isn't an angle. This is a real thing. But I will see you at Blackout Wrestling. And Joshua Snow, as far as I'm concerned, my friend, you are all talk. All right? You are all talk. I ain't out to bully you. I ain't out to embarrass you. Hey, listen, I want to bring something out of you, Joshua Snow, that you didn't think you had.
What do you want to bring out of him?
What I want to bring out of him is very, very simple, Reverend Bryce. I want to bring toughness out of that lad. I want to make him a man. All right. I am a conservative. I am a family man. I am the defender of what is right in this world. And Joshua Snow, you are a pretender in a man's world. And I swear, if I see you across that ring, all right, and you give me a fight, you ain't going to win. Whether it's work or shoot, you ain't going to win. All right. But if you give me a fight, Joshua Snow, that's all I wanted.
Show us those muscles.
You know what I mean? Listen, I'm coming off a tricep tear. All right. What you're looking at, easy 220 kilo deadlift, right? That's what, 500 pounds American. Okay. You're talking about a guy who is a dad. I am a father. I am a husband. I am a badass. All right? And I never got what I deserve in pro wrestling. And that's what you need to wear.
And you know what it sounds like? You're not done in the ring. Sounds like
I ain't done.
Left. Sounds
I ain't done.
Unfinished business, right?
I ain't done, Reverend Bryce. I ain't done until. I don't
think the room though is too quiet though, because I think that you're pretty much speaking your mind, and I think at the end of the day, it's if you want to settle this, if you two guys in a ring, you know, how about a boxing fight? You want to do a boxing fight?
I'm out. I'm completely. I am. Listen, we can go work. We can go shoot. All right.
Real quick.
Let's go, brother.
Nobody wanted you to be here. You showed up. You're welcome to be here. You attacked the platform. You attacked my platform. You had no right.
You don't attack Reverend Bryce. Not on my watch.
You attacked my platform. You attacked Backyard Wrestling. Yeah. You were a backyard wrestler. You came on my platform for 2 years. I have always supported you. I have always stuck up for you. I messaged you even a few weeks ago asking if anything I could do to help you. I have always been supportive. And you attacked me for bringing somebody else on. You don't have any business to do that. Yeah. I didn't go out there and tell your company how to book your matches. I didn't tell your company how to run your business. I don't tell anybody's company or anybody's podcast on how to do things. So the facts is like, look, you went across the line. You had no right to do anything other than say if you didn't like the particular interview, you don't have to listen, but you don't have to go out there and take somebody's platform. I wouldn't go into your home and take your food off your table. I wouldn't go out there and tell you what you should or what you should not do. And that's not right. That at the end of the day, look, people respected you. People enjoyed you coming on the platform. Whatever was between you and him, that's for you guys to decide. But you made it personal when you called out my platform. I never did anything to you, and you randomly did that. And then you told people to boycott Sportswire. I could have did a lot more worse than what I did. At the end of the day, I'm here. I even said it. If you want to come on and say anything, you're welcome to message me anytime. So whatever you have between you guys, that's fine. But you're not going to go and disrespect my platform. And on top of that, you disrespected other people when I shared a post a few months back. If you don't like a post, that's fine. You know what? I see different people are here. You know what? You're here, and this is what you're watching. So if you want to say something, you're welcome to do it. But at the end of the day, you're not going to listen. If you don't like Joe Rogan, you don't listen to him, right? If you don't like Pat McAfee's show, you don't listen to him. If you don't like Eric Bischoff's show, Controversy Creates Cash, you don't listen to it. Yeah, people can talk they're sad. People that can talk they're disappointed. But that's the twisting. That's the games here. But no, Tribal Cheese, you're not going to cancel. Tribal Cheese, you're going to definitely top this because I'm sure that this is going to continue. At the end of the day, he had got all the time for the landlord. This had got me through my first round of bumps when I was struggling, Cheers. And that's what it's about. You have helped people. You know, you have to, yeah. It's not going to go well. My advice is it's not going to go well. It's just not. At the end of the day, I wish you all the best in your endeavors. I wish you, well with Jenny. I wish you well with your family. And I hope that you do very successful in life. I really wish you the best. But in terms of what's going on here, I think it pretty much speaks for itself.
Reverend Bryce, I couldn't say it by myself. All right,
What's the future
listen.
for you here? As we're coming into the end of the show,
Yeah, of course, brother.
What's the
I
future?
I gotta go down and see to my wife and son, like a good conservative man does. What's the future for me?
And what's
Well,
the future?
listen. Yeah, hell yeah. Right? When it comes to summer, I wanna come down there. I wanna and I just wanna get this quick point out, brother, if
Go
that's
ahead.
okay.
You
If
got it.
that's okay.
Where is yours? I speak no more.
All right.
The floor is yours.
Okay. So CCW, right? People judge them because they put on a death match that was somewhat inappropriate. Okay? Yeah, it happens, right? I took a bump on the edge of the stage at a Blackheart show, right? That I was coming off the match with Radu, right? I wanted to be the hardcore guy. I didn't realize there was a family audience out there, and I took a bump that I never should have took. All right. Okay, you want to judge CCW? You want to judge my boys, James Barris and Logan, the big cheese himself, right? Okay, you want to judge them. I want you to ask yourself how much nonsense that you've encountered in pro wrestling. Okay, because I've been in wrestling a long time and I encountered a lot of people that I would happily hang. Okay, because these people, they prey on kids. Okay, and there's a lot of this in wrestling, and it's something that needs to be addressed. All right, and I'm willing to call this out. I'm willing to call out the wrestle for a fee, that bald guy that died. These people are wrong-uns. We call these wrong-uns, Reverend Bryce, because these people prey on children. I am a father, right? Okay? Anybody that preys on kids, I want them hung in the square, hung in the town square and set an example. Okay, I know it's too political, but that's by the by. All right?
Well, that's your
But
opinion. I will say that's your
it's
opinion.
my
You're
opinion.
entitled to
It's
it.
my opinion, and I believe in protecting kids. Okay? And as far as people go that are concerned with CCW putting on deathmatch for kids, I've got to know the CCW guys, right? James Barris, Logan, and I bloody like them. I really like them. You know why? Because they're working class, they're salt of the earth, and they tell it like it is.
Listen, they go out there before we close the show. They go out there to raise money for the community. They go
That's
out there,
it.
they're in the community.
That's it.
They go out there and
They care.
I've known these guys a long time. You know, people ask me
Oh,
not to
yeah.
cover CCW. People after the death match, people asked me, you know,
Yeah,
not to work with them. But I'm like, you know what? I know James Barris. He came on my
Yeah, that's it.
platform. He addressed it. You know, and I always believe in giving people a voice. Just like the individual you were battling with.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I always liked him. And I think at the end
Yeah.
of the day, people need to stick together. At the end of the day,
Oh, yeah.
you know, all water will eventually be under the bridge. So whatever happens with the future, you know, and I'll say it, I wish everybody the best, right? But at the end of the day, you have your choices. You have your decisions. We have our decisions. And at the end of the day, I hope one day, if that's out there, CCW would be a great place for you. If that's something you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a company that has a lot of things. And listen, mistakes are definitely made. Listen, at the end of the day, things happen. But just listen, I'm the guy that has on Jimmy Controversy, who supports Sportzwire. I'm the guy that has on Mikey Anarchy, who was just the GTS Intercontinental Champion. I'm the guy that was just had on Mac 10 in the Carnage Cup. I'm the guy that just had on Hardcore. I'm the guy that just had on Obey. They seem to be fine with the platform. So at the end of the day, I'm sure that CCW's made mistakes, but every promotion's made mistakes.
We all have.
Everybody, listen, I'm not perfect. I've made tons of mistakes in my life.
Of course we have, brother.
Yep. But at the end of the day, I want to give you the opportunity for closing thoughts. I don't want to make this about me or anybody else. I want to give you here before we sign off. And J-Ro, I want to say hello to J-Ro because we hope to
J-Ro.
I want to say this. J-Ro would always be welcome on Sportswire. I always liked it. In fact, I always liked, honestly, I know we made jokes about that company, but I always liked everybody at NSAW really up until I honestly, to me, it was kind of a little bit uncalled for. I always liked everybody that came on here, but that's a moot point. J-Ro's awesome. We say hello to J-Ro. Everybody, even if you came in here and you didn't like or you liked, I say hello to you. I say thank you for tuning in because you came in. You obviously liked what went on. If you didn't like the comments, you still tuned in and liked it. But I'm giving you the opportunity now. Well, that was funny. I'm giving you closing thoughts. I'm giving you the floor, and you're
Yeah,
welcome
I appreciate
anytime
that,
on my
brother.
platform. You're welcome anytime to speak. And this is your final thoughts.
Reverend Bryce, I appreciate that. As far as CCW is concerned, as you know, listen, as pro wrestlers, as the pro wrestling economy, I will say economy because I don't want to say industry because very few people get paid, right? We're all too quick to judge. Okay, CCW made a mistake, but like you said, Reverend Bryce, they do a hell of a lot for the community. Okay, they do a lot for the community, and I've talked to them. All right, they are work. They are. Oh wait. Oh,
There you go. There you go. There you go. You're
am I
okay?
there? All right, brother. Can you hear me? They are
I hear you. Go
working
ahead. Go ahead.
class. Can you hear me? All
I
right.
hear you. Go ahead.
They're working class, salt of the earth guys, and oops, I think like the wrestler who couldn't be named is messaging me a lot. Wrestler who couldn't be named because of guilt by association. Stop it. I'll talk to you afterwards. All right.
Yes.
CCW.
Yep. Go ahead.
CCW, Salt of the Earth guys. They invited me up there. I am 100%. I'm gonna take their invitation. You ain't gonna see Chris Levitt. You're gonna see Jake Carnage on a CCW show. I want that big cheese in the ring. I want him in the ring. I've told that. All right. I like him, but I want to bring something out of him. I want to bring something violent. I've seen that guy train in MMA. I don't want to bring something violent out of him.
Military, by the way. You're also forgetting he was in the military. So he's a guy.
He's in the military.
He was in the military.
God damn it, I respect the military. Protecting our country. You know what I mean? He's a good goddamn man. I love that guy. Logan. I love that guy. I want him in the ring. All right. But CCW, we're all judging people too harshly. One person makes a botch spot, this shit. I'm sorry I swore a little bit. But people say one spot messes up and the guy's written off. Okay? It happens. What matters in this business is being over. All right? Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. I hear you
brilliant.
I'm gonna
fantastic, my friend.
I'm gonna end it on
a high note. What matters is being over.
Let me
incredible.
You're awesome.
Oh, sorry, my friend.
Comments. I want to say hello to this individual. He enjoyed the interview. He's cool. Callum McJakester. Definitely a different interview. Yes, it was different. I also want to say hello to Daniel Banner. Yes, people judge a lot of companies. Hey, brother, we say that again. Also, that's a question that company has to ask. I want to say this. I don't endorse or oppose anybody going anywhere they want. That's a decision that's between themselves and their gods. Obviously, I like CCW, and I think everybody should be in CCW. But if somebody wants to go somewhere, I'm not going to deny them the God-given opportunity that they want to go and wrestle. I want to put that clear. Get this man in Kingdom. Well, that'll be, again, that's up to the powers that be in Kingdom. I say hello to you too, Jenny. Hello to you too. Also here, yes, I want to say hello to Matt Royale. Hello to you too. And when people are talking, yeah, it is what it is. All right, so you know what? I definitely want you back because I want to end this so you look good on top. You're going to end on top, almost like what most wrestlers don't do. They don't end interviews on top. So obviously, you're going to certainly end. I don't think it's the most entertaining interview on Sportswire because, again, I'll still say I had on the head coach of the United States women's amputee football team, Paige Palazzolo, and we just had on Luke Leyland, who was the first British fighter to have fought in Dambe at the African Warriors Fighting Championship. They have like 100,000 followers. Check that out. And we also had on not too long ago some guy named Dean Allmark. So, we've had some good ones, but this was an interesting one. Yes.
Bring it on, Dean Allmark.
Keep working. Keep preaching. This was one for the ages. We'll definitely have you back. Follow him on Instagram, NecroJaddyJC, Chris Levitt on Facebook. My friend, Enjoy the rest of the evening. Never say never. And I think that people definitely were entertained regardless. And I also want to say one more thing, Brad Coleman. I want to say, Brad, I'm going to see you next Friday because you got to top this also. And he says here, I know something about spots going wrong. Like you say, it happens. I'm sitting through nerve damage and broken humerus because I'm slowly recovering.
Get well, brother.
And we hope it works out because I always liked Brad. I always liked. So Brad, you're always welcome. And I'm going to see you next Friday. You are going to get the floor. Let's see if you try to top this. And Tribal Cheese said he likes it. So if he likes it, it seems like that's all I need is an endorsement. If Davey Blaze likes Sportswire shows and Tribal Cheese likes him, and Jimmy Controversy, by the way, forgot to mention, Jimmy Controversy's been here twice. He's only a part of the 7th biggest company in the world. And he seems to like what I'm doing. In fact, he even told me, he said, screw cancel culture. And he said, say whatever you want. And he said, even unload further. That's what's exactly his words. And James Barris, by the way, is here Thursday, 8 o'clock British Standard Time. He's going to be inducted in our Hall of Fame. And oh, by the way, we have 23 members in the Hall of Fame. Yes, definitely shooting at the arm. I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, the host of Sports Report, the owner of Sportzwire Radio, where all wrestling matters. We were joined here for a lively discussion with Mr. Necro Daddy himself, Jake Carnage, Chris Levitt, whatever else you want to say, and a bag of chips. You can check us out here on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 579 Backstage Streams. Thank you, everybody. If you're on SportsWireRadio.org, whether our internet radio station, you have a podcast out there, you have live music, you want to play it, you play on my platform anytime. It's a community station. I handle all the costs, all the maintenance fees. I take care of that to help the community. We're on Twitch now at Sportswire Radio, Twitter at Thomas Price 2017. If you joined us for the first time, stay for the conversation, stay for the discussions because Tribal Cheese is here tomorrow. James Barris is here Thursday. Ronnie Thatcher is here Friday. Brad Coleman is here next Friday. And by the way, a guy next Sunday, this Sunday coming up, DVG, that voice guy on YouTube, coming into my Hall of Fame, has 78,000 subscribers on YouTube. 78,000. He likes Sportswire, so he's got 78,000 subscribers. He seems to be happy. So until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, that is nonstop, never stop. And I'll see everybody tomorrow with the Tribal Cheese Logan, where all wrestling matters here on Sports